Hey everybody, I've got another 1 year plus review for you today. Today we're going to look at the Earthquake Bar by Bandbell. They offer two different bars as their main bars, the Earthquake and then their regular Bamboo Bar. The difference is the Earthquake, I believe, holds a little bit more weight. They also have, I think, what they call an Emax bar, which holds a bit more. They have their portable bar, which breaks down. A few other items. I think they even have a dumbbell now, which is pretty interesting. But today we'll focus on the Earthquake Bar. So quick comparison for price. So the Earthquake Bar right now on Rogue is listed at $289. The only real comparable on the market that I've seen is the Tsunami Bar, which is $400 on Elite. The difference between the two, the Tsunami Bar, you can actually put plates on. So it's got like Olympic sleeves, and the plates will slide on. Whereas the Earthquake Bar and the Bamboo Bar, you load up a little bit differently. So you throw bands on and load it up. I'll show you that in a bit. The only other option for something like this would be to build your own. I've seen people do some kind of thrown together items one of two ways. I've seen them do it with PVC. It obviously does not hold as much, at least I wouldn't think it would. That's could be fairly cheap. We're talking 50 bucks or something like that. And then there's also some companies that sell, and they're not weightlifting equipment companies, they sell it for other purposes. They sell different different thickness and bars and stuff that you could buy to potentially replicate this. It's like fiberglass material, so obviously be very, very careful, because if you load it up too much and you shatter the fiberglass, I can't imagine that that would be great for you from a health standard. It would probably get in your eyes. You'd probably have a lot of issues. That might be an ER trip. For my money, I'd rather go with the official item, but just to throw those out there. Overall, I ordered from Rogue, so shipping, everything was really easy, no issues. Since you only hang bands off the bar, since there's no actual on and off of plates, you can see, I mean, the bar is brand new. I mean, there's little bits of J-cup, going on there, and that's it. The rest of the bar is 100% brand new. No dings, no dents, no nothing. So, I mean, if I got a little bit of touch-up paint or something, I'm sure I could clean that up a bit and probably sell it as, a brand new bar. So it's also, there's no metal, so there's no upkeep, which is nice. Kind of like getting a stainless bar or something like that. There's no upkeep on the bar whatsoever. I didn't even wipe this down before I filmed this. Normally I wipe my bars down real quick to show you, to make sure I don't have any dust or anything on them. Let's see. Overall usefulness. So I use this bar for two main purposes: for bench press variations and for overhead press variations. So flat bench, decline, incline, overhead, both from two arms, in front, behind, up and down, as well as sometimes I'll do a javelin press, so it's one arm like this. All works out really well. Anything that really forces your shoulders to lock in tight is kind of where I find the bread and butter to be at this bar. You'll see online and on Bandbell's page, they have videos of people using it for a lot of other stuff. Squats, rack pulls, rows, shrugs, and all kinds of stuff. I personally don't enjoy those. I've never felt a difference with that compared to anything else. So squats with this bar compared to squats with a normal bar, it just takes more setup time with this bar than it does a normal bar. It's my personal opinion. John Meadows and a lot of other guys really like the Bandbell bars for squats and a few things. Again, I don't know why. I'm just not a fan. It doesn't mean it's a bad movement. It's just I don't notice any difference other than, again, the setup time. Let's see. I have done curls and triceps work. That's not bad. I just don't do a lot of those exercises. So it's not worth my time to really load up the bar to get those done. And the other one I've done is weighted carries. So specifically from a zerker position, so like in the elbows. I've loaded up the bar, walked down and come back. That's really gnarly. That's a really good, because it's bouncing all over the place, so you really got to lock in tight. So anything where stability is kind of a huge factor, so bench with your shoulders, overhead with your shoulders, anything weighted carry purpose with your core, this bar is going to do you well. The other one is I've seen people do like weighted sit-ups and stuff. I tried that and got dominated. I don't do weighted sit-ups very often, so that's probably a reason why. But if that's something you do on a regular basis, especially if you add weight to it, this will throw in a completely new dimension of stability into that exercise. I've done singles, I've done 8 reps, I've done drop sets, I've done burnout sets, I've done all kinds of stuff. So you're not limited to certain rep ranges or anything with the bar. It'll do. You could do conceivably any bench press exercise that you would do with a normal bar with this bar. One thing you'll need a handful of bands. The ones that I have chosen for mine are the red Rogue Monster bands. So you see I got a whole bunch of them here for exactly those purposes. You'll also need something to hang off of the bands. So 25-pound plates work really well. The other thing that works great is some dumbbells or even chains work well. So one thing to show you guys, so I'll grab a band peg real quick so you can see. Show you both sides. Okay, so if you load up the bar with weight on one side and not the other, this thing only weighs 6 pounds. It's going to do this and tilt and fall over. So what I typically do is just take my band and my bar, throw it in there, and then grab a plate. Pretty easy. Put the band through, something like this. You can go through, you can do this. You have different options depending on your bands and how you want to set it up. We'll just do this for today. Slide it on in, and there you go. And you can see how the band peg caught it from the other end. We're good to go. This works for both loading and unloading, and then obviously I would load the other side and then move the band peg out of the way and do my exercise. Let's see, what else do I got for you? I really like the bar for deload weeks or just weeks after I've done a lot of heavy pressing. You're probably only going to put, I'd say 200 pounds most on this bar most of the time. And that's if you're a really, really strong lifter, in which case you may need the Emax bar. But most people are probably going to do rep work with this as opposed to singles, doubles, or even triples. So unless if you were repping out with 300 or something, on a regular basis with a normal bar, I wouldn't worry about this bar exceeding what it claims to be maximum weight of 300 pounds. It's also a fantastic teaching tool. So if you have any weaknesses in your press at all, specifically your bench press, this thing will find them instantly. If you are not commonly really tight, so if you're not locked in, tight, lats, shoulders, back, everything, squeezing the bar, etc., you're going to unrack that bar and instantly go crazy. I've had a few friends come over and try and use it, and even with just 125 pound on each side, so that's a total of 56 pounds, they are getting thrown around like crazy. And these aren't people who bench 95 pounds. These are 200 plus pound benchers, so not world record holders, but certainly not slouches by any means. So these are people benching above their body weight for reps, and they are getting torn apart by this bar at very low weights. So final pieces, it's a pretty expensive specialty bar, especially for a fairly specific purpose, and the fact that you need some potentially additional tools to make it work if you don't already have a handful of sets of bands. But the lack of upkeep and the ability to expose some potentially really drastic technique issues could really make it a valuable addition to your arsenal. If you've never benched with something pseudo like this, an unstable bar, if you have shoulder issues, if you have elbow issues, if you have wrist issues, anything like that, this would be a great thing to at least try and test out. Just because of that idea of sometimes you don't know until you try it if you have technique flaws. A shoulder reconstruction surgery is a lot more expensive than this bar. It's kind of the key point there for me. Certainly not at the top of my list for specialty bars. I'm pretty sure I'd have an SSB and a trap bar and maybe even a football bar before I'd own this if I was doing everything again. But that doesn't mean that I'm not happy with this as an addition to my routines. I've had it for 3 years actually, and it continues to make its way into my programming. It's not there every week, it's not there every month even, but it's certainly there a handful of times a year. I like using it on a fairly regular basis for overhead press because I don't actually like going heavy on overhead, so this keeps it light but still forces a lot of the same stability work and everything like that. I'm really actually kind of amazed that I don't see it more often in some of the more decked out garage gyms. I think one of the only places I commonly see it, Mark Bell uses it and Westside uses it. Now that should probably be two very nice endorsements. Even if you don't care what I have to say, the fact that Westside Barbell is using this bar on a regular basis, and so is Mark Bell. If you care about getting stronger, that's probably two nice places to look. I love the bar. It's a lot of fun to use with guests, as they always get dominated by it. Continues to make appearances in my rotation after about 3 years, and like I said, the key to me is one, it's fun, so I like to have fun in my training. This bar is fun, it's an interesting change-up, and again, it is much cheaper than any kind of shoulder reconstruction surgery or anything if you had to go down that route. So, thanks.